Well, no trip to Kentucky would be complete without coming by and visiting with Brian Block. If you guys don't know Brian, you need to check him out on YouTube, BC Block 02. Famous for this old barn shop, turning his old barn into a functioning machine shop with a bridge crane and all kind of big heavy machinery in it. So
it's full scale deal.
Yep, right
which
back
is good
there.
Because when you fall and break your ribs, you can still use the bridge crane to move everything around and not kill yourself.
That's right, yeah.
So,
and built it all himself. That was one of the most amazing things, is seeing everything you did, just building it by yourself. As far as we know, you did it by yourself, because we never saw anybody else in the videos.
I put every screw and nail in it myself, pretty much.
Yeah.
There might be maybe a half dozen somebody else did somewhere when I was doing something else, but
yeah.
But for the main part, all of the definite larger construction was done by me myself, putting up all the steel and drilling the 660 holes and fitting everything.
Yep.
Pouring the literally hundreds of bags of concrete by hand to do all the footer work before I ever even did the floors.
I remember
the only time
all
I
that.
had help was when I finished the big floor sections. I had a buddy come over and he'd pull the other end of the stick while we screeded it all off. And that was the only time I had any help, was when we were pouring 21-yard cement mixtures at a time to do the floor in there, because the floor is 1.5 to 3 feet thick, depending on what section of the shop you're in.
That's right, I remember that.
So.
These Kentucky boys know how to get it done. They improvise and they just get it done themselves.
That's right. So.
But this is a great area. You know, we're not far from Frankfort, and it's cool seeing the distilleries everywhere. You see the signs for the distilleries, and it's just a beautiful part of the country here, man. Rolling green hills and farmland and
lots of horses.
Yeah, that's right. So we want to stop by and visit with Brian for just a little bit. We'll go over down, and we got Lance here with us too.
So
Lance has joined us.
Good morning.
We got our little trip we're taking, but I guess we can go in your shop and check out the new machines. He's got a new, he's got the big Monarch in there since the last time we stopped by, which was, I think, 3 summers ago now.
Yeah, I think it was on the trailer still when you were here then, wasn't it?
It was on the trailer in your big covered storage area. Yeah. So we do have video where we come here before a few years ago, but we'll
see what's changed.
Yeah, we'll see what's changed and what you've added here.
Egg-laying chickens are quite annoying, though. They like to hide their chickens or hide their eggs everywhere. They'll lay one place for a while, and you'll be like, finally we found them, and then they disappear.
And they move around.
Yeah, you gotta go Easter egg hunting and find where they disappeared to.
Yeah, if you don't put them up.
See all those chickens there?
They're wily birds.
Yeah.
They think you have something, they come running over here to us.
Yeah, well, maybe it's people, they might have some food.
Yeah.
Check it out. Throw something out here.
How's the forklift running?
The Heister runs good.
Good.
So, it's not totally complete. Still got to finish up the reverser linkage isn't hooked up. I got to fabricate all that so I can get the floorboard put back in here.
Yeah. I know he did an engine swap here. You put a Cummins engine in here, right?
Yep, got an A3 Cummins in here. World's most powerful forklift. It's probably 450 horsepower, maybe.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It's a runner.
You gonna fire it up?
Yeah, we'll see if it'll start.
He's got this old Dodge truck back there that he pulled out of the last time we were here. It was just buried in the weeds, and then when he showed it, it was even more buried in weeds, and he pulled it out and got it running. That's a good sounding forklift there. That is good
That
stuff.
is a dragster. That isn't a forklift. That's crazy.
World's most powerful forklift. I like it.
It runs pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Runs a little better than the original engine then, huh?
I mean, it wouldn't pull itself anything below gear with the old motor, so
Yeah.
this thing probably weighs 5,000 pounds empty, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, because it's rated to pick up 15 and it's off-road rated, so that makes it a whole lot heavier than a standard 15,000 pound forklift because
Okay.
it's designed to be used on surfaces that aren't necessarily level. So
Yeah. All right, we made it into Brian's shop here, this old barn shop. You guys have not seen this. There it is. He got in here and built his own bridge crane system, erected it. Don't you have the roof kind of supported by those upper beams too as well?
yeah, the original stick positions that came to the ground here in the middle are sitting on top of the steel for the bridge crane.
Okay, yep.
Basically, there's a crane here with a barn attached to it.
Right. 15-ton limit on your bridge crane there.
Yeah, that's advertised.
Advertised load.
Yeah.
Well, we know that it picked the Carlton up.
Yeah.
It picked it up and set it down for you.
It was actually fun. The biggest thing it's picked up so far was the Monarch.
Do you know what that one weighs?
38,000 according to the scales on the crane.
Wow, and it handled it.
Yeah, handle it. It's 50,000 is what I've got it figured at
Okay.
for all the steel in here when I built it.
Okay.
Because actually that crane's cut down from its original length, so that increases its load capacity.
Right. Oh, you shortened.
I didn't shorten it. It happened sometime previously in the
Okay.
80 years it existed.
Okay.
Before I ever got it. It's like 6 feet shorter than what it originally was.
Yeah. So when we were here last time, the Monarch here, the big Monarch, was out on his trailer. Hadn't had it unloaded yet, so this is the first time getting to see it actually in the shop. It's a
40-inch swing, 16 feet between centers, so
Yeah,
it's a good handy size.
big lathe. This is the bed length that pacemaker I ran had about the same bed length there, but this is double the swing of that pacemaker.
Yeah. This is the console for the World War II dynamometer. So this is what they used in engine development, I believe, for landing craft engines, as best I can tell. From the history I got was that it came from Hall Scott, but other people have called into question whether or not that was really the case. And, you know, when you get into all this stuff, it's just old and basically 3 generations removed from when it was, you know, the people that actually ran it at the time. You know, it's a lot of hearsay, but it's got this is all the dynamometer parts of it. Basically, this reads the RPM, and this is an actual direct readout for the horsepower that they had calculated by this deal here that uses, supposed to have tubes like an old tube radio, and they analog converted the RPM and torque output into an actual direct horsepower reading, so they didn't have to calculate it. It's pretty fancy for the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is your plans with it?
I would like to restore it just mainly as a looks kind of deal, but I do have plans to actually operate the dynamometer that goes with this, which is that over there, and I'll use it for engine development. It's kind of a little different deal too from the age it was, the way that they did it. Most dynamometers now, they flow the water through them continuously. That one is a closed system to where the amount of water that's pumped into the brake is fixed, and what that means is you can very, very accurately control the RPM. Modern dynos are like the ones you see the guys running on Richard Holdner's channel or you know, Engine Masters or something like that. Those engines, or those dynamometers are not good at holding a particular RPM. So that's why you always see them run sweeps where the engines just sweep through. That engine's designed to load to where you can actually do a test at a particular RPM, adjust whatever, move it to another RPM, adjust whatever. And it'll actually both use water as the brake material and air pressure as the brake material, because just air pressure in that thing alone at RPM can be 70 horsepower. It's just got giant heat exchangers underneath of it, and that's why it's only rated for 500 horsepower, because it can continuously dissipate 500 horsepower, but it can absorb 2,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay.
So realistically, it can check 2,000 horsepower, but it can't hold it forever and ever. But it can hold 500 horsepower forever and ever. Of course, I can put more heat exchangers on it and increase its capacity. But for what I'll line up doing with it, it'll be plenty.
You talking about doing engines for the guys that run the tractor pulls?
Yeah, for pulling tractors.
They put them in the trucks and make a tractor pull out of it? Yeah, okay. I know you've done a lot of that engine work over the years,
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I gotta move the hole and bore it out because it uses a different gear setup and convert this back to a mechanical setup for a puller. I'm just waiting for them to bring me their pump so I know what size hole to put in here.
Okay. Well, this is a shot of his horizontal bore mill anyway. He's got the
heaviest single piece in here. Of course, it didn't one of the heaviest on the crane because it's in multiple pieces when it was set in here, but its total weight is 47,000 pounds.
Wow. Yep.
And that's why it's got the 3 foot of concrete underneath of it.
Yep. You got the rails set there,
yeah,
in the floor.
For a minimum of 18 inches of concrete underneath of those rails, and they're a foot in the ground. So
yeah. Playing with his bridge crane here. It's all chain, hand operated here. This one over here is going to run the crane down, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's got a high speed and a low speed for the actual hoist you can pull out.
Yeah. That's for that up there, and of course he's got a.
You got to pull 300 feet of that chain to move an inch.
Yeah, that's a slow mover right there.
Yeah.
But he just got this chain fall hooked to it here, and that one. What? This is a 3-ton unit.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, now this is the one to run it down, right?
Yeah.
Can I move that one?
Yeah.
Let's come over.
Move it here pretty soon. I gave the man that's in here, and I'm gonna get up there and move it over so the chain's out here and it clears everything going back and forth. Where it is right now, it's kind of flat.
Nice and easy. Benefit of this kind of movement though is that you could just kind of feather it the way you want to get things positioned. All right, he just fired up the Monarch.
He just got to see how close this tailstock is going to be to being right.
This one that you're going to modify?
Yeah,
this is for a smaller one.
I'm going to raise it up a little.
Yeah, okay.
Right center line, but other than that, it fits really well. So.
Yeah. Well, there's Brian's old Dodge truck. This thing was buried in the weeds last time we were here, and then he's got a video where he had to cut the weeds out of the way just so he could get to the truck, and then he got the thing running again. He said he still uses it. He's been using it around the farm here.
Yep, farm truck. I'll haul the sticks with. I don't get my crew cab all stretched up.
Oh, I just saw one of the wasp in there. He said you got to fight the wasp off if you want to get in there and drive it around.
Put a battery in it and hook the gas can up.
Yeah, that's cool. Adventurer.
I already got the axles going. It'd be 4-wheel drive and have regular 22.5 axles. All these Daytons will go way off here. The tag axle disappears. to just wind up with an extended cab and an 11-foot flatbed. Because to me, that's the perfect truck for having to haul and drive around with. For hauling things. 11-foot bed's nice. You can haul a whole lot on it without having to have a trailer. And then if you do have to have a trailer, then you just hook up and pull a trailer, and it's not so long that it's hard to maneuver and manipulate.
Brian brought us out here to the other implement shed, and he's showing us his trucks. This is a grain truck that he recently got. He's gonna build him one of those Cummins engines for it, and some of his other trucks that he's had for a long time too. This is just like the one out there in the field. This guy right here, trying to keep it preserved under the shed here. The work truck, that's actually the drag truck.
Yeah.
He used to drag race this one.
Got the Diesel Hot Rod Association logo there on it.
Yeah.
03, it was the third truck in the Diesel Hot Rod Association to ever be registered.
Cool. He's got one more here too. Another Ram 350 work truck. Got a pile of engines out here.
3 ISLs and A3C.
Well, our visit here is going to come to an end, but got to thank Brian for inviting us to come by and say hello and see everything again. See Bailey.
Glad to have you. Our poor Bailey.
Look at him.
He's struggling.
He's trying to get back up.
Says I got in this tall grass. I'm down.
You gonna make it? You gonna make it, buddy? Oh, there you go. He's got that bad hip and he's got arthritis, and he's about to turn 16 years old though.
Yep.
He's still doing good. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the little visit here with Brian. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel, of course, BC Block 02.
Yep. Doing the big machine, and I fix all the broken junk shows up here, and I fix it more now. I don't do a lot of making stuff, but I do a lot of fixing.
A lot of fixing. Well, one thing about you is that you're very smart. You seem like one of those guys that's a problem solver.
So,
You can figure it out.
yeah. There's not much that I can't get fixed eventually.
I mean, anything mechanical, this guy understands it. He knows it. I mean, so you can machine, you can weld, fab, repair engines, build whatever you want.
Yep, design it from scratch or whatever.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Well, we're gonna head out of here.
All
Hit the road.
good seeing you.
Good seeing you again. And
So, good seeing
as
you,
always,
Yep, thanks, Brian. We appreciate you letting us tour through all your good stuff.
Yeah, glad
Yep.
to have you. So,
all right, man. Well, we'll talk to you later.
all right, we'll see you.